Hello everyone, the RPG rumor mill has been going out of control recently. There's been a lot of hype and constant hints and reading into quotes from different people trying to find different meanings, and it's been just nuts, and I think with good reason, because I think there is a lot boiling beneath the surface. I think there's a whole lot of fantastic RPG stuff coming out soon. I think there's a whole lot in the works that is being kept under wraps. I truly believe that the fourth quarter of 2021 and the year of 2022 are going to be one of the best years ever for RPGs. There are going to be so many games that we already know are coming out in that time frame, and here I want to talk a little bit about more what is rumored and how I think things are going to be going down. Starting off with Persona, it is the 25th anniversary, and we already know that there are going to be many projects related to that anniversary coming out fourth quarter this year and in 2022. There is a rumored 7 possible projects coming out in that time frame. None, as of the time of recording this video, have been confirmed, but what I think is going to happen, I think we are going to see Persona 3 and 4 either individually or as a pack come to the Nintendo Switch and possibly PS5. I think Persona 5 will be ported to the Nintendo Switch and possibly a port of Royal with something special to the PS5 or whatever, but I definitely think 3, 4, and 5 will be coming to the Nintendo Switch, and I think there is going to be a sort of Persona Legacy collection of 1 and both parts of 2, or just both parts of 2, depending how they go about it. And chances are, I think something like that would probably be digital only in North America, but end up with a physical release in either Japan or the Asian region, which typically you can find a lot of. Same thing with like what's happening with Fatal Frame, an English supported physical version. That happened with a lot of the Final Fantasy versions on the Nintendo Switch. I think that's how it's going to go down. I think for Persona, we're going to see 3, 4, and 5 make their way to the Nintendo Switch. I think we'll see a Legacy collection of 1 and 2, digital only North America, but a English supported physical version available in somewhere else in the world. And I think the Persona, the fighting game series, I think will get either a collection or a port of the second one, Ultimax, or a third completely original one. I think in some fashion, in some form, we're going to see that the Persona 4 Arena, the Persona fighting series, arrive on newer systems, whether again that's the older games or a completely new third game. I think that's going to be one coming out, and I think we are going to see at least some sort of teaser or reveal by next spring of Persona 6. Whether that is a title that comes out within this window or not, who knows. With all these other games, maybe be pushed back a little bit further, but I think it'll at least be shown off. I think we'll at least know what it's going to be, what's coming. So that's with Persona. With Atlas, I hope that there's more going on with Atlas. I think, things like Digital Devil Saga, I think Nocturne did very, very well. Hopefully that gets ported over, who knows. But definitely I think there's going to be a big focus on Persona for the next 12 to 18 months with this anniversary. I think that, what I stated before, I think is how things are going to go down. Moving on to Monolith Soft, I think there's a lot in the works. It keeps coming every time there's a Nintendo Direct. What's the next news with Xenoblade? How are things going? It keeps going over and over with rumors all the time about what is really happening. And I definitely think we are going to see Xenoblade Chronicles 3 revealed before, my guess is, I think September, October. I think this fall we're going to see it revealed for a release next year, probably late next year, like summer or fall. But I think we are going to see it revealed. I think it's going to blow everyone away because the company has become huge over time. I think a lot of people forget just how big Monolith Soft has become and how many studios they have, how many people they have, because they are helping on a lot of Nintendo projects, Zelda, Splatoon, Smash Brothers, whatever, but that's never the full team. And even Xenoblade Chronicles 2 and Torna and the Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition, none of those were all hands on deck. None of those. We've not seen the bulk of the studio, the main team, the core team, go completely all in on a single project since Xenoblade Chronicles X on the Wii U. It has since then all been a little more fractured, smaller teams working on these games. And I think once we see, look what they accomplished with X, and then they're able to do with Xenoblade Chronicles Part 2 with roughly 50 people or so, and then some outside help, it's going to be incredible what they can do. I think they're going to push the Switch to the absolute limit, and I think Xenoblade Chronicles 3, whatever form that takes, is going to be extraordinary. And in the meantime, I think, again, that's going to be revealed within the next couple of months. I think we'll be late next year, though, when it actually comes out. In the meantime, I really think, this is a little bit hopeful, but I think there's a possibility that in that time frame, showing that game off, being roughly a year away when they finally show it off, I think between that time we're going to see a port of Xenoblade Chronicles X to kind of fill in that gap of time and to really keep building up the momentum and excitement for Xenoblade Chronicles 3. And I think 3 is going to take place in the far future, be a direct sequel related to Xenoblade Chronicles 1 and 2 with a lot of returning characters from both of those games. I think it's going to be a lot of universes combined kind of thing. I think I think Elma will likely be in it from X. I think it's going to be a combination of a lot of legacy characters with some new characters in whatever this game is. I definitely think that's how it's going to turn out. The last thing that is on kind of the rumor mill that I think is going to happen, I think that before the end of the year, I'm not sure exactly when, but I definitely think before 2021 comes to a close, we are going to get some sort of reveal of Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2. I think they could be at that point now. We know for a fact it went into full production November 2019, and it's not going to have the kind of troubled and lengthy development cycle that the first part did, because the first part was starting from scratch, really forming what is this going to actually be, and there was a lot of work done by an outside company that they then just didn't like what they were seeing, so they erased all that, and that lost a whole bunch of time. So we had all these things really dragging out that cycle. Now they have the base built, they have the foundation, they have the combat engine, which they've been tweaking with the DLC with Yuffie and everything. Like, everything is set up to make this a much more streamlined development cycle, to where I think they can make an even bigger and better game in half the time of the original. And at this point, by this fall, we'll be at least 2 years in, and I think we are going to see it revealed. I think we are going to see something from that game before the end of this year. I don't think it'll come out till, my guess is like November, December 2022. I think it's going to be like a holiday next year type game. I think we're still over a year away, definitely, but I think we're going to see it this year, and there's going to be like a year of hype building up to that being a huge game next fall or late winter. So, and as I said, of course, there are a million other RPG titles that are in the works, like what's going to happen with Tales after Arise. Are we going to go right into a related sequel for that, or are we going to see a bunch of classic games finally get ported over, because they have really, I think, missed the boat with that. Like, why is there not, Tales of Symphonia and The Abyss and maybe Xillia 1 and 2, or like, why are none of those ported? Those are just like, would be great ways of continuing that series on something like a Switch. Like, we got Vesperia, which was awesome, but yeah, how is that going to turn out? Really, I wanted to cover these few that I feel a little more certain about what's going to happen, and what I described here in this video is what I think is going to be going down with those series, how I think Persona, Xenoblade, and Final Fantasy VII Remake are going to turn out over the next year and a half or so. I'd love to hear what you think below, any of your predictions, and it'll be cool to check back occasionally on this video and see how my predictions turned out.